Hello and welcome again to Fox Comics and Games in beautiful downtown Marion, Illinois. And we're unpacking this week's comic book order from Diamond Comics, and it is the week of Wednesday, December 19th. That's when all of this will go on sale. We're going to start off with some of the pops and the keychains that we got in. A lot of Incredibles from Incredibles 2. Also some Bob Ross Pez. Then some Walking Dead pins and some Saga pins. Just overall goodness for the stocking you need to stuff. Next up we have the Man of Steel, signed by Brian Michael Bendis. I believe he signed 600 of those. Then we have DC Nation, also signed by Brian Michael Bendis. He signed 225 of those. So those are for sale. They come with a nice certificate of authenticity. Then trade papers. We got in a mess, too many to show, but we're going to just kind of show you a few. Here's Amazing Spider-Man, Edge of the Spider-Verse, The Witcher, Hour of Glass, House of Glass, Baby Teeth, Year One from Donny Cates, the guy that's killing it on Venom right now. And then, very excitedly so, finally, the hardcover for Ed Brubaker's My Heroes Have Always Been Junkies. So great books, great gift ideas for the comic reader on your list. All of these would be wonderful to give, and they're going to enjoy every one of them. We're going to start off the comic book side of this. Let me kind of clean that off. With Amazing Spider-Man number 12. We would like to take a moment and show all the Marvel comics this week all have the Stan Lee thing, and the first two pages are black, so you can't really ask for a better tribute to a great man than that. But that is Amazing Spider-Man number 12. And then, as always, we show the variant covers that we have for that. That's the Conan variant. And then we also have Galactus variant as well. And then next up from DC Vertigo, we have issue 2 of American Carnage. Really cool. Then also from DC, we have up next Aquaman, which it looks like he's starting an all-new story arc, hence the all-new Aquaman up at the top. But that is Aquaman issue 43, just in time to tie into the movie. And then we have, obviously, kind of a movie-themed tie-in variant cover, which is gorgeous. He and Mira on that. Then also from DC, we have issue 61 of Batman, and it looks like part 1 of the Nightmares. And then we have the beautiful Batman variant, which is always a treat. Next up from DC, if that's you calling us on the phone, know that we'll call you back in a few moments. Next up from DC, we have issue 5 out of 6 of Batman Kings of Fear. So those of you that are waiting for that anxiously, there it is. And then from Boom Studios, we have issue 5 of Black Badge, kind of scouting gone awry, if you will. Kind of a neat story. Then from Marvel again, we have Black Panther versus Deadpool, issue 3. And that is the standard cover. And then as we do, again, we will show you the variants that are in for that as well. So really cool. And then up next from Valiant, we have issue 2 of Bloodshot Rising Spirit. Great book. If you're not reading Valiant, you need to. And then if you have this on your pull list, you will be getting this copy of that. It is the pre-edition pre-order bundle, and you get additional pages of content for the same price. Really a good value. So if you don't have that on your pull list, great time to add it. Next up from Image Publishing, we have issue 4 of Burnouts. Marvel brings us Captain America, issue 6. Beautiful cover on that. Speaking of beautiful covers, DC brings us issue 6 of Catwoman. Joelle Jones, great book that she's got going, and we are going to sadly spoil the cover of the week already this early into it, but the voting is done and we can't change the vote. That is the cover of the week for Catwoman 6, just beautiful. She's holding a cat ornament there. it's more wonderful in hand than what you guys are seeing on that video, I promise you. Next up from Marvel, we have Champions Annual #1. And then from Image Publishing, we have from Cullen Bunn, Cold Spots, issue 5. Great story. Speaking of great stories, another one is up next from Brian Michael Bendis. This is from Jinx World, issue 4 of Cover. And there's the variant cover for that. Dark Horse Comics brings us from the pages of Hellboy, Crimson Lotus, issue 5. And then from DC, we have issue 12 of Damage. And then from Marvel, we have issue 2, which I believe this is yes, it is indeed a 12-shot. Issue 2 of Dead Man Logan. Cool book there. Then up next, we have also from Marvel, issue 1 of Defenders, The Best Defense. And then that's the standard cover, and then that is the variant cover, Scotty Young variant right there. Really, really cool. Then next up from Marvel, we have issue 9 of Domino. Great looking cover on that as well. And also from Marvel, we have Exiles, issue 11. Which, pretty nice cover on that as well. Then up from Image, we have issue 3 of Exorcisters, and it is what you think it is, what the title implies. Next up from Marvel, we have Extermination #5. And then from Boom Studios, we have Firefly, issue 2. And Greg Pak's doing that, I think with the nod from Josh Whedon. And then, as we always do, the variant covers. That's the variant for issue 2 of Firefly. Next up from DC, new title. This is #1 of a 12-shot. It's called Freedom Fighters. And we have a great-looking variant cover on that as well. So that is what DC is up to right now. Image Publishing brings us issue 9 of Gideon Falls. A great book, great read. I hope everyone's enjoying that. Next up, also from Image, is Andy Diggle's Hardcore #1. Great book. A lot of people looking forward to that here in our store. If your store's not getting it, ask that they do, because it's looks to be a very good book. Next up from DC, we have issue 56 of Harley Quinn, Who Let the Cats Out? And that's what Mrs. Fox asks most days. And then, as we always do, the variant covers. That's in our top 5 covers of the week, especially for the whimsical holiday theme of Harley on the sled. Great looking cover there. Next up from Marvel, we have Iceman #4. Also from Marvel, we have Infinity Wars #6. And then we also have from Marvel, Infinity Wars Fallen Guardian #1. And as you can see, it's got the Guardians of the Galaxy on it. Great looking cover on that. And then that is the Fallen Guardian variant cover. Then we have from Dynamite, issue 2 of James Bond 007. And then we have up next from Archaea Press, Jim Henson's Labyrinth Coronation. And that's just a gorgeous book. That's issue 9 of that. I think it's going to 12 as well, if I'm not mistaken. Then Dynamite Publishing brings us issue 4 of John Wick. DC Publishing is up next, and they offer us issue 14 of Justice League. Looks pretty cool. Scott Snyder. Can't say anything wrong with Scott Snyder and Justice League. And then, as we always do, the variant cover for Justice League 14. Next up from Marvel, issue 2 of Killmonger. Great cover, also made our top 5. Up next from Boom Studios, we have a holiday tradition here at Fox's. Grant Morrison, over the last 3 or 4 years, has written a Claus book detailing the prequel to Santa, and this year is no exception. This year he's calling his romp Claus and the Crying Snowman, and that's looks to be a great book. It's Grant Morrison. How far wrong can you go? And also in the top 5 of our best covers this week is the Claus variant cover from Boom Studios. Just absolutely gorgeous. Next up from Marvel, we have The Life of Captain Marvel, issue 5. Beautiful cover, also in our top 5. Then next up we have from Valiant, a highly anticipated, you've probably seen the standee in our store for the last month, Livewire, issue 1. Great jumping on point for those of you looking to get into some new Valiant. Here you go. Here's a title to jump in on the ground floor. That's what the main cover looks like. That's the pre-order variant. This is the main cover. So you'll be getting this one if it's on your pull list. If it's not, then you'll be getting this one. And also available for sale will be that variant cover as well, because that's how Foxes roll. We like to have a lot of different cover options for you. We like to say we've got you covered. Next up from Marvel, we have Marvel Knights, issue 4. And a great looking Black Panther cover there. Image Publishing and Scotty Young bring us issue 2 of The Beautiful Middle West. Great story, great book to jump in on and get reading, because it is kicking tail. Boom Studios brings us issue 34 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This is Beyond the Grid. And then we have the variant covers for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. IDW brings us one of Mr. Fox's favorite, issue 73 of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. And it is. I got to be honest with you, my friends. Friendship is magic. So is dry underwear. Next up, from Dark Horse Comics, we have issue 9 of American Gods from Neil Gaiman. Good book. DC brings us issue 55 of Nightwing. If a new hero fails, a city falls. And that's a great looking cover, but it did not make our top 5, but the Nightwing variant cover did. Just a beautiful, beautiful cover for that. As did the cover for Old Man Hawkeye number 12, is also in our top 5 covers of the week. Beautiful, beautiful rustic looking work by Marvel. Next up from Image and Robert Kirkman is issue 37 of Outcast. Also from Image is issue 5 of Outpost Zero. Next up from Jinx World, another one of Brian Michael Bendis' great books that he's working on as a side project, issue 5 of Pearl. Then from Marvel, we have issue 5 of The Punisher. And it looks to have some sort of a Hydra tie-in. So we put that in our top 5 covers of the week just for those 2 reasons. Next up from Image and Cullen Bunn again, because we keep coming back to Cullen Bunn. Issue 14 of Regression. Very popular book here at Fox's. A lot of you enjoying Regression. Next up from Marvel, a whimsical cover on this. Almost made our top 5, but not quite. Runaways, issue 16. They're throwing snowballs at each other and decorating a Christmas tree. You can't go wrong with that. And then next up, speaking of the season and the holiday and the Christmas atmosphere, we have from Marvel issue 1 of Season's Beatings. And that looks to star a little Deadpool action, if I'm not mistaken. And then that is the variant cover, which did not make our top 5 either because it wasn't drawn well enough. But otherwise it would have gotten into the top 5, but they just didn't quite get there. Next up from Marvel, we have issue 3 of Shuri. Very good book. People seem to be enjoying that very, very much here at the store. Speaking of beautiful books, this is just absolutely stunningly beautiful. And has been throughout. It's a really, really good book. But I love their covers. They've done a great job with this. This is issue 3 out of 5. It's Sparrowhawk is the name of that book. Really, really cool. Then from Image Publishing, we have issue 292 of Spawn, clearing up all the unanswered questions from Spawn 291. And then from Marvel, because they can legally, we have Spider-Geddon, issue 5. And trust me, we looked into it legally. They can do Spider-Geddon again. We looked into that. Also from Marvel, issue 25 of Star Wars, Darth Vader. Great looking cover on that. And then next up from Marvel, we have Star Wars Solo, issue 3. DC brings us Teen Titans, issue 25. And a very striking variant cover on Teen Titans, issue 25. Next up from Marvel, and did not make the top 200 covers of this week, Thor, number 8. It's as if Marvel's daring us to read that book. Also from IDW, issue 89 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that did make our top 5 covers of the week because that's how easy it is to get into the top 5 when you're not doing that. But if you do that, you're in the top 5. Also from IDW, issue 8 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Urban Legends. A lot of people enjoying that book here at Fox's. Next up from Marvel, Uncanny X-Men, issue 6. Aftershock Comics brings us Garth Ennis's Walk Through Hell, issue 6. I think I've been in that store before. Next up from Image, issue 2 of The Warning. And then from Marvel, as you can tell, a big week for comics here at Fox's, so you all get your butt down here and buy some stuff because we have Christmas bills to pay. We have Weapon H, issue 11. And then we have from Image Publishing, Witchblade, issue 10. Great looking cover. Also from Dark Horse Comics, issue 1, and there's going to be 4 of these total, The Witcher of Flesh and Flame. I'm guessing that's going to probably dance around the upcoming Netflix series storyline, but we'll see how that works out. But that is coming up. Next up from Valiant, which if you're not reading Valiant, there's something wrong with you, is Exo Man of War, issue 22. Beautiful cover, well executed, great paper. Looks like they care about the comics they put out. What a great company Valiant is. And there's the cover you'll get if you've got this on your pull list. That's the pre-order variant. And again, more pages of content, same price. Why wouldn't you? Then next up, we have from Scout Comics, The Nober, issue 6. And that looks like that's going to be it for this week's comics. I would also take a moment and bring up this Saturday, which will be the 22nd, will be our annual Christmas party for the comic and gaming store downstairs in the basement. And then upstairs in the sports card shop, we will be having our annual Christmas party / store anniversary. We'll be celebrating 12 years of being in business for the Fox Sports Cards up here. And there will be, you can buy raffle tickets to have shots at cool prizes. There will be refreshments. There will be community building, people standing around talking about the holidays and what they're doing, like any of us give a rat's behind what they're doing for the holidays. But we'll be here drinking some stuff and eating some stuff and pretending we care about that. But it'll be a great time to visit with other people and also to buy stuff from Fox's. So hope to see you here Saturday and also on Wednesday, the 19th. Thanks so much and have a Merry Christmas.